Kat Timpf is a TV star, stand-up comedian, and writer who is best known for her work on Fox News. She has been presented as a funny and smart person on TV shows like Gutfeld and Sincerely Kat. Her libertarian jabs, one-liners, and general smarts have helped her build a strong fan base, but it has also made people more interested in her personal and professional life. With the way media works now, Kat has a big effect on millions of people. So when stories start to surface that cast doubt on her skills and qualifications, they become news. Now that Kat Timpf's secrets are out in the open, let's look at them. Kat is more than just TV and the sassy glasses. She also hosts podcasts and writes columns. Her work for National Review and other well-known magazines has long made her more marketable. Not long ago, though, Catherine Claire Timpf was just a baby. She was born in Detroit, Michigan on October 29, 1988. Daniel was her father and an animal vet. Anne-Marie was her mother and an English teacher at a high school. Kat grew up in a family that was very artistic, so it wasn't a surprise that she wanted to be a famous comedian. She had a great sense of humor a long time ago. Elliot and Julia, her brothers, went into music and modeling, respectively. The Timpf family lived in Michigan's Detroit. Kat grew up as a Roman Catholic and stayed a deeply religious Catholic until she was 17. At that point, she stopped being religious. Even though she was still a Christian, she had totally changed how she felt about politics and the government. She began to call herself a libertarian, which means she supports a small, fair government that stays out of economic issues and lets people decide what social policies should be. As she learned how to write better and wanted to make a difference in the world, she became interested in writing. She went to Lutheran High School North and then Hillsdale College. At Hillsdale College, there were rarely more than 20 people in a class. Her graduation from Hillsdale College in 2010 came with a BA in English and a magna cum laude. Kat was sure about the political path she wanted to take by the time she left Hillsdale. "I'm definitely a libertarian," she said. "So I'm not as conservative on some things as Hillsdale is. This private school should be able to teach what it wants, not the government." "That's a great idea." She said, "There is so much indoctrination right now. I wrote college news for campus reform for years. And the teaching that goes on at these places is real. If the government is in charge of money, they can also be in charge of schooling. It's also amazing how brave Hillsdale is to do this. It has shown that a private way to handle education is possible and really does work." Early in her career, Kat quickly got a spot on America Live with Megyn Kelly, a Fox News news show. It was on the air from February 2010 to September 2013, and well-known writer Megyn Kelly hosted it. It also talked about current events and the most controversial issues. After that, she worked as NASA's Third Rock radio newsreader and as a digital reporter for the Washington Times. She got her start in the media business as a web editor for the Washington Times, which was a good thing. After 2 years, the Fund for American Studies gave her a grant through the Robert Novak Journalism Fellowship Program. The money helped her with her project. What happens when you follow Golden State policy? The whole country goes down with it. Around this time, Kat started working as a print and video reporter for campusreform.org, a website that reported on bad behavior on college campuses. It was mostly about right-wing problems, and many of the articles made fun of liberals and social justice warriors and said that professors were too political. Kat had already written about racism, abuse, and scam on college campuses before she got the job. It was a great fit for her to take this new job. So good at her job that in 2014, she was asked to talk about campus change on Fox News to back up the claim that college campuses were becoming too politically correct. She was a common guest on Fox and Friends around this time. She went on to appear on more major TV news shows, such as Your World with Neil Cavuto. The Drudge Report, Orange County Register, Investor's Business Daily, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and International Business Times were just a few of the national news sites that ran her writing. In her work, she was also finding a place for her comedy. She was a comedian on the Baltimore radio show 98 Rock's Morning Drive. She said, "Stand-up comedy and writing helped me a lot. I couldn't give up. I had to work hard, take chances, and believe in myself." It also helped a little to be lucky. And talent? I guess I do have some. In a different interview, she did say that her stand-up shows were fun. She also said, "I mostly open for other people, but I've also been the main act a few times." From Columbia, Missouri to New York City to Los Angeles, I got to meet people and find out what makes them laugh. She showed off these skills by performing at a number of comedy clubs, such as the Improv in Los Angeles and Gotham Comedy Club in New York. She was still doing stand-up comedy while she was trying to become a reporter. Kat was asked about her time in the program after she left Campus Reform. She said, "As part of my job at the Leadership Institute's Campus Reform, I got TV training that taught me the skills I needed to feel confident in my first few appearances, and then the feedback on those appearances that I needed to sharpen them. I didn't have any official training in TV before. Kat also worked as a writer and reporter for Total Traffic Network. She also started working as a reporter for National Review Online, where she wrote funny and sarcastic editorials about a wide range of subjects. For her, though, 2014 turned out to be a hard year. Amyloidosis was found in her mother in November, and she died just 3 weeks after being told she had it. Kat later wrote on X about the death of her mother. After several wrong diagnoses, my mom died of amyloidosis in November. Helped save lives by getting the word out. Kat's 2015 was the most important for her work, even though she lost her mother and it hurt a lot. Larry Wilmore, a famous comedian, author, and actor, ran the late-night talk show The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore. Kat was once asked to be on the show. The show had 2 seasons from January 19th, 2015 to August 18th, 2016, but it had to be canceled because not many people watched it. Kat had also said that she had written a lot of pieces that she thought would do well but didn't. She got a lot of attention because of a video she made at a feminist meeting. When asked which of her articles had the most views, she said, "It might have been the feminist video that got me on redeye.women at a feminist conference wouldn't talk to me because they knew I worked for a conservative magazine. I was there to make a video." Though it may have been awkward to make the movie at the time, she was lucky that someone at Fox liked it. The video of her at a feminist meeting went viral, and Greg Gutfeld saw her on a show talking about it. He then asked her to be on Red Eye. Kat talked about how she got around in her new job. "Being good at stand-up comedy helped me on Red Eye. We were joking around back and forth. When he got his new show, he asked me to be on it." One of Kat's most famous TV roles was as a cast member on The Greg Gutfeld Show, a popular late-night talk show that played on Fox News Channel in 2015. The panelists on the show are mostly comedians or TV personalities who, instead of having a serious chat, make fun of current events while talking about the topics of the week. After that, she became famous right away in December 2015 when she called Hillary Clinton a fake feminist for how she treated women who had accused her husband of sexual misconduct. In 2016 and 2017, she started contributing to the Barstool Sports website around this time. On her podcast, The Kat Timpf Show, she had a guest every week and talked about a wide range of issues, including her own life. During her work, she hosted and co-hosted a number of Fox News shows such as Red Eye, Stossel, The Five, Outnumbered, and The Big Weekend Show. Aside from that, she was a co-host on the news and talk show Fox News Specialists and the host of her own show on Fox Nation. Kat became more well-known because of these shows. People watched more of the Fox News Specialists because it had an interview with Donald Trump in the first show. There were 3 regular hosts on the show, which started on May 1st, 2017. They were Kat, Eric Bolling, and Ebony Williams. There were also 2 guests on the show where they talked about politics and recent events. However, it came to light that Bolling had sent sexual texts to 3 female coworkers, and Fox News said that Bolling was the most likely suspect. Bolling was put on leave while the news organization looked into reports that he sent the sexy pictures to coworkers. A law firm was even hired by the network to look into the situation. When it was proven that Bolling had done what he was accused of, he was fired and his show was canceled. Kat has also had some problems in her job, especially when she worked at Fox News and on The Greg Gutfeld Show. During her time at Fox News, she had to deal with older, more experienced experts who often try to control their younger, more up-and-coming coworkers. She had to work hard to show how smart and knowledgeable she was in order to become a known young journalist. She stood out on The Greg Gutfeld Show because of how funny she was and how liberal she was. Some people threaten her because she works at a place where she doesn't agree with many of the rules. When faced with this, she said, "You just have to know what you believe and why you believe it. Everyone can dislike some things about me because I'm a liberal, but everyone can also agree with some things. For the most part, I agree with people, but sometimes we disagree. This makes it easier for me to talk to them." Because of her ideas, she also got death threats in another case. When Kat was a guest on the late-night political comedy show Red Eye with Tom Shilowy, she made fun of Star Wars fans who were waiting for the peak to come out. In the first show, she said, "I have never been interested in watching space nerds poke each other with their little space nerd sticks, and I'm not going to start now. You guys are crazy. You people who love Star Wars are crazy." This was about a text she sent the day before, which said, "I wasn't familiar with Star Wars because I've been too busy liking cool things and being attractive." Kat wouldn't back down when threats were made against her, and she was asked to say sorry. She said that I tweeted something, but all I said was that I hadn't seen Star Wars because I was too busy being pretty and cool. Some people said they would kill me. You're not really advertising yourself in a way that makes me want to join your dangerous club. Kat talked about her feelings about cyberbullying in a piece for the National Review. She also said that she would not back down from threats. She wrote, "It's clear that a lot of people are very upset. What do you know, though? I'm not going to feel bad. Why? because people often feel the need to apologize for harmless jokes when there is a lot of noise, and this is ruining society. I'm not going to join this focus on political correctness because I think it hurts free speech. She also said, "You are too sensitive if you think I should die or say sorry for making a joke about a movie you like. The trouble is with you, not me. It's getting old for me to see people being forced by overly sensitive groups to apologize for jokes, even if the joke is about something important like Star Wars. I'm not going to say sorry for that. A lot of people respected her for this. But the thought that some were out to hurt her because of what she believed wasn't very comforting. She got more mean comments and even threats as her online fame grew. She had to deal with junk and jerks. Kat says that she has anxiety problems that sometimes get in the way of her work, unless she is in a very risky situation like being threatened with death. Kat had a hard time dealing with the stress of being on live TV behind the scenes. To keep up with the news, she didn't always have time to think about what she was going to say. She had to be ready to talk about any interesting news that came her way. Being ready all the time makes it hard for her to do her job and deal with the people. She is having a tough time with her feelings and thoughts because she needs to be ready. She also has to deal with the expectations that come with working for a conservative news outfit while still staying true to her own beliefs. This made her personal life worse. It got tense at times in the relationships. Since she had to do her job in public and hear mean things, she dealt with the stress by being strong. Then on December 27th, 2018, Kat's piece was taken down by the National Review. The National Review says that the column didn't include some important facts about a University of Missouri student who sued for sexual harassment under Title IX. It was shown in a deposition that the accused harasser had made unwanted moves towards the female student over and over again. This was considered stalking, which is against Title IX. What Kat said about what happened made it sound like a female student had complained about being harassed because the person she said was bothering her was bigger than her. Kat didn't give up. She spoke at the start of YALCON 2019 in Silicon Valley. The show was put on by Young Americans for Liberty. Besides her weekly Fox News radio show with professional wrestler Tyrus, she kept her other jobs. Kat got some good news the next year. In August 2020, she told everyone that she was going to marry Cameron Freshie. On May 1st, 2021, they got married. Fans were shocked. She believed that everyone should be able to do what makes them happy and that no one should be married. She meant that society can make people feel like they need to have normal relationships, which isn't always easy. These things taught her how important it is to put her own freedom and happiness first. It was clear what she meant. A woman shouldn't have to choose between her goals and her family. They should be free to do their jobs and have fun. Some of her friends would lose sight of who they were and give up on their own hopes and dreams, but she knew that being friends with them should make each other stronger, not weaker. She also changed how she felt about getting married after going on dates. She told everyone about the strange people she saw. A lot of the time, she feels limited by what her partner or other people expect of her. She also wrote in other pieces that love doesn't have to be public. It can come in many ways. In other words, love isn't just for getting married. She says that the rules that guide relationships make it hard for many people to make real connections. Kat had a lot of different ideas about loved ones. By using humor to poke fun at what people think about marriage and how it works. But as her work grew, so did her thoughts about marriage. She met her husband on Raya, a dating app that famous and wealthy people like to use. This became even more true after they got married. She said that Cameron's honesty finally made her change her mind, even though she hadn't planned to. As she puts it, "I wasn't just looking for a partner or husband before I met Cam. I was against monogamy and had general questions about my faith in it." Kat liked Cameron because he looked different from the other guys she met on a dating app. She thought they might be a good match. He worked in business and went to a private school. His family was very wealthy. He was born in New York City on August 10th, 1986, and grew up there. He went to Choate Rosemary Hall, a well-known boarding school in Connecticut, when he was young. He went to the top U.S. West Point is a military school. He did really well in the Army after getting his Bachelor of Science. His next move was to join the Academy's lacrosse team. After that, he went to West Point to start officer candidate school so that he could become an officer in the military. The next thing he had to do was finish basic training in the Army. He was now ready to serve his country for the rest of his life. He was a lawyer before he joined the Army. After that, he was sent to Afghanistan in 2011 to be the leader of SEAL Team 1. He was also sent to Coast Province, which is a dangerous and tough place. At that point, he was in direct contact with war. When he got out of the Army in 2014, he looked for work in banks. He started out as a manager at Merrill Lynch. Kat did say she didn't trust him because he was well-groomed and used to have a lot of money. Those weren't the same as the ones she had before, which were mostly with rebels. They did get along right away. Kat found a cool side of himself by being sure of himself. She felt free to be herself after meeting Cameron, even though she didn't want to get married and wanted to be alone. When people heard that Kat and Cameron were getting married on the Greg Gutfeld show in August 2020, they went crazy, which made many people think differently about her. The host of one of her shows quickly changed the subject after taking a quick look at her engagement ring. She joked about it on Instagram by writing "Hell froze over after a few days." Kat posted an unposed picture of the two of them online and said it was their engagement picture. In the mirror picture, that's what came up when Frisha put his arm around Timpf, where she wore a funny hat and showed off her ring. After a few months, they spent the holidays with their dog, and Kat "Merry Christmas from our family to yours," she wrote under a few pictures of the group. Kat chose to look beyond TV now that she was married and happy. She is now a well-known artist. People really liked her book, You Can't Joke About That, which came out in 2023. It explains why a lot of the way we talk about touchy things is wrong. Her point is that we've made too many rules and gotten into too many fights when we should all feel like we're in this together. She wrote another book called I Used to Like You Until How Binary Thinking Divides Us, which came out in 2024. You can read it here. In it, she says that binary thought isn't just bad for critical thinking. It also poses a direct threat to the way we talk about politics, our organizations, how we get news, our relationships, our creativity, and even our rights. Kat is now known as a comedian, political commentator, and New York Times best-selling book. At the moment, they co-host Gutfeld on Fox News and still work as an expert for Fox News. The theaters across the country that she took her comedy live show, You Can't Joke About That Live, to sold out every night. She lives in New York City with her husband Cam, their dog Carl, and her cat Cheens. Many people are amazed at how she has stuck to her goals and achieved them despite odds and loss. Kat Timpf has shown that he can change and be strong in front of the cameras, and it's clear that he doesn't get scared when the cameras are off.